Bitzlato, Binance, and what regulators are really doing. The U.S. Department of Justice was criticized for overhyping the seizure of a little-known exchange. The U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, took a page out of a certain crypto hype man's book Wednesday when announcing an announcement. And following the age-old tradition, the news eventually disclosed was, at least on the surface, a bit of a nothingburger. Given everything that has happened in crypto recently, the collapse of major crypto exchange FTX, the destabilization of crypto conglomerate, and CoinDesk parent, Digital Currency Group, and even the disclosure of a massive, multi-year investigation into Binance, the world's largest exchange by volume, the DOJ's initial announcement piqued people's attention. The cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, BTC, and Ether, ETH, both fell by about 5% after the initial announcement. This article is excerpted from the Node, CoinDesk's daily roundup of the most pivotal stories in blockchain and crypto news. You can subscribe to get the full newsletter here. But when the regulators and enforcers took the stage at noon Eastern Time to announce they had shut down the little-known crypto exchange, Bitzlato, and arrested its founder in Miami, the whole charade looked like a waste of taxpayer money. What is a Bitzlato? Tellingly, authorities misspelled the name of the exchange when uploading court documents. Kinda feels like they heard about this exchange for the first time today too. Crypto researcher and critic Bennett Tomlin, who noted the anomaly, tweeted, "See also, Bits who now? Department of Justice takes down Russian exchange Bitzlato." Podcast. Bitzlato is a crypto exchange registered in Hong Kong and run by the Russian national Anatoly Legkodimov, who also goes by Gandalf. The indictment claimed the exchange processed about $4.5 billion worth of cryptocurrency transactions since its founding in 2018, of which $700 million is known to have flowed to or from the prominent darknet marketplace Hydra. Further, a meaningful volume allegedly came from U.S. customers, meaning it would be subject to U.S. regulatory safeguards. The multi-agency investigation, including the DOJ, Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and Treasury Department in conjunction with about half a dozen European agencies, allegedly found that the money-transmitting business Bitzlato was operating with minimal Know Your Customer, KYC, oversights and was used to launder money from illicit sources including ransomware and drug trafficking. Legkodimov allegedly was aware that his exchange was used by what he called crooks and even advertised it as such. If convicted of operating an illegal money-transmitting business, Legkodimov faces a maximum sentence of 5 years. Of course, few had heard of Bitzlato or its operator Gandalf before the press conference, reminiscent of how, in 2011, Senator Chuck Schumer, Democrat New York, now the Senate Majority Leader, inadvertently turned a lot of people onto the legendary darknet market Silk Road and Bitcoin, when calling for its closure. That doesn't necessarily mean Bitzlato was not the China-based money laundering engine that fueled a high-tech axis of cryptocrime, as the FBI alleges. After all, darknet transactions are supposed to be secretive. But at its height, the exchange only held $6 million in funds, a remarkably minuscule amount. Likewise, similar web searches show how little traffic the so-called crime hub had. All of this raises the question of why the agencies would grandstand about what seems like relatively straightforward police work. In the words of Deputy Attorney General Monaco, today's actions send a clear message. Whether you break our laws from China or Europe, or abuse our financial system from a tropical island, you can expect to answer for your crimes inside a United States courtroom. Taken at face value, the suggestion is that the police are going to police and that, while the crypto industry may be global and decentralized, much of that investigatory work is going to start and end in the US. This isn't anything new. The superpower isn't called the world's policeman for nothing. Likewise, the long arm of the law has wrangled in a number of offshore companies over the years. Still, it's a strong statement, and that might send shivers down Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao's spine. Bitzlato's top counterparty was Binance, followed by Hydra and an alleged Ponzi scheme called Finico. Industry news site Protos suggested that the Bitzlato investigation was likely kickstarted, or accelerated, by the seizure of documents from the Hydra marketplace last year. If that were true, it means the DOJ, which is reportedly already investigating Binance, would have similar data on flows between Binance and Hydra. According to research done by Igor Makarov and Antoinette Schur in 2021, Bitzlato was the second largest source of Hydra's volumes after Binance, and above the peer-to-peer network Local Bitcoins. This isn't to paint a target on Binance. Critically, the exchange has boosted its KYC procedures and relationships with regulators over the years. But it's clear from CoinDesk reporting that the Securities and Exchange Commission is interested taking a look under the hood at the industry's biggest exchanges, and Binance is still reportedly staring down a money laundering complaint. If and when that comes, no one should be surprised if Hydra is named. If anything, yesterday's indictment only proved that regulators and police have the tools necessary at their disposal to investigate and indict alleged crypto criminals. That's worth mentioning in the wake of FTX, and other high-profile blockchain embarrassments last year, now that lawmakers are calling for stricter rules and oversight of the industry. See also, Binance named as counterparty in FinCEN order against Bitzlato. According to the Washington Post, the Bitzlato enforcement was the first action led by the Justice Department's crypto-focused SIT team started in 2021. It was also an opportunity for the U.S. Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network to debut more powers granted by a 2021 defense authorization law to combat Russian-related financial crimes, including bypassing slower procedures to administer punishments by fiat. There's an argument to be made that oversight of monetary transfers is already overly broad. It penalizes everyone by starting from the premise that surveillance for the sake of safety is normal. But ever since the seizure of the Silk Road, it has been evident that fully public, transparent and immutable blockchains are horrible systems to do illicit business on, and yet people choose to do so. The crimes are there, the laws are on the books. That's part of what made yesterday's presser so cringy. In particular, Monaco's allusion to the tropical Bahamas-based FTX exchange, when discussing the broad authority for U.S. agencies to pursue crimes, only goes to show how often regulators fail to preempt anything. Bitzlato may have been an exception, but it pales by comparison.